Happy New Year. How are you feeling? I woke up feeling a little anxious this morning about everything I had to do today. Today. I thought, oh my God, it's the middle of January already. And I remembered the middle of December was just like a blink ago. So I started to feel a bit anxious and worried about the big list of things I had to do. So I thought, right, I need to shift my mindset out of this to something more creative today. And so I got onto my podcast, and what popped up was the Essential Teachings from Eckhart Tolle, who I just love. And his talk gave me so much inspiration. He was talking in France about unnecessary suffering, and it was so on point. I love to listen to Eckhart. He's got a really beautiful meditative voice, and he just calms me down and reminds me to stay in the present, experiencing the present, rather than take my mind to the future or the past. And now I'm very much immersed in the thoughts that Eckhart has inspired for me today. And what he was talking about was really about not getting so hijacked by our ego. He told the story of Narcissus. So yes, that's where the word narcissist comes from, who in Greek mythology is the son of the river god Cephissus. I'm probably pronouncing all these names wrong. Now, Narcissus was distinguished for his beauty. He actually fell in love with his own reflection. And in fact, he was so enamored by his reflection that when looking into the waters of a spring, he drowned himself in his own image. And Eckhart makes a little joke about how the spring was a bit of a forecast for the way we use selfies today. So I've been very fascinated to hear from everybody about how they use selfies today. And I actually created a poll about that, about how people use selfies. So I'll share that. I'll share that in a moment. But he goes on to say that we can get trapped into believing that that image of ourselves, that, physical image of ourselves is actually who we are. And so we become incredibly dissatisfied as this changes. Maybe like me, you're experiencing aging, or your weight fluctuates, or you have some illness that makes your body feel weak. And all of this goes to your dissatisfaction. You might be comparing yourself with other people you see who have stronger bodies, more supple skin, perhaps more of what you think you should have. Or maybe you started out that way with a negative body image to start with as a very young person. And so when we do that, we actually, Eckhart was saying, we actually provide this unnecessary burden on ourselves. We create unnecessary suffering in our life because we're never satisfied, because we think this external image of ourselves is actually us, when in fact, what makes us us is at the core, it's our soul and not the ego. And it's definitely not that external image of you. Eckhart goes on to talk about other ways we add unnecessary suffering to our lives by not experiencing the power of now, the power of the present, and see that all the past and the future is actually experienced in the present. And he talks about how we can stay more present by appreciating the experience we're in right now. It's a 50-minute episode, and I'll add it to the comment below, as well as the link to his book. If you haven't read it, I would absolutely recommend it. It's called The Power of Now, and it really changed my life. It's one of those books that doesn't sit on my shelf for very long because I always give it away to friends. So have a wonderful day today. Stay present with me, and we'll see you soon.